Have you ever felt awkward in a conversation? Wondered how some people just seem to talk to anyone with ease? Well, chances are these individuals mastered the art of breaking the ice. This crucial first step sets the tone for any conversation, be it at a business meeting, a social gathering, or even a chance encounter at a coffee shop. So, what exactly does breaking the ice mean? Picture an icy surface standing between you and another person. To communicate, you need to break this ice to create a path for conversation. This metaphorical ice can be anything that makes conversation difficult: unfamiliarity, fear, or just plain old awkwardness. But how do we break the ice? There's no one-size-fits-all answer, but there are a few strategies that can help. Open-ended questions, for instance, are a fantastic tool. They're questions that can't be answered with a simple yes or no, encouraging the other person to share more. For example, rather than asking, "Do you like this weather?" which could be answered with a simple nod, you could ask, "What do you like to do on days like this?" This invites the other person to share more about their interests and experiences. Compliments can also serve as great icebreakers. A genuine compliment can make the other person feel good and more open to conversation. But remember, it has to be sincere and relevant. Complimenting someone's choice of outfit or their insightful comment can go a long way in setting a positive tone. And let's not forget the power of light humor. A well-timed, lighthearted comment can ease the tension and make the environment more comfortable for conversation. Just bear in mind that humor can be subjective, so it's important to tread carefully. In essence, breaking the ice is about finding common ground, showing interest in the other person, and creating a comfortable environment for conversation. It's about making the other person feel valued and heard. So, the next time you're in a conversation, remember to break the ice. It might be a bit nerve-wracking at first, but with practice, it will become second nature. Remember, the first step to a great conversation is breaking the ice. So you've broken the ice, but what comes next? Well, let's talk about active listening. You might be thinking, listening? I do that all the time. But there's a difference between hearing someone talk and really listening to what they're saying. Active listening is a communication technique that requires the listener to fully concentrate, understand, respond, and then remember what is being said. Why is it important? When you actively listen, you're not just waiting for your turn to speak. You're showing the other person that you value their thoughts and opinions. It demonstrates respect and encourages open communication, making conversations more meaningful and enjoyable. So how can you become an active listener? Here are a few tips. Firstly, show interest. This means maintaining eye contact, leaning in slightly, and reacting appropriately to what's being said. This doesn't mean you have to agree with everything, but simply acknowledging that you're engaged in the conversation. Secondly, nodding. A simple nod can go a long way in showing that you're paying attention. It's a universally understood gesture that says, "I'm with you, keep going." But remember, it's not about bobbing your head like a dashboard doll. Subtle and natural nods do the trick. Next, paraphrasing. This is a great tool to show that you're not only listening, but also understanding. After the speaker makes a point, try to rephrase it in your own words. For instance, if they say, "I've been feeling overwhelmed at work," you might respond, "So, the workload has been really intense for you lately." This shows empathy and validates the speaker's feelings or points of view. Lastly, don't interrupt. It's easy to jump in with your thoughts or advice, but try to hold back until the other person has finished speaking. Interrupting can make them feel unheard and can disrupt the flow of conversation. Remember, active listening is not about being a silent participant. It's about being engaged, showing empathy, and building a deeper connection. It's a skill that can turn a good conversation into a great one. Active listening is a skill that can turn a good conversation into a great one. Now, let's talk about something that often speaks louder than words: your body language. You see, body language is like a silent orchestra that we're all unconsciously conducting. It's a vital part of communication that can significantly influence the flow and outcome of any conversation. So, let's dive in and discuss how you can use your body language to your advantage. Firstly, consider your posture. Standing or sitting tall not only makes you appear more confident, but it also makes you feel more confident. A straight back and relaxed shoulders reflect a sense of self-assuredness that others will certainly pick up on. Next, let's discuss eye contact. Maintaining eye contact when someone is speaking shows that you are actively engaged and interested in what they're saying. But remember, There's a fine line between maintaining eye contact and staring. The trick is to hold eye contact for long enough to show interest, but not so long that it becomes uncomfortable. Moving on to gestures, they can be incredibly powerful. Open gestures, like spreading your arms slightly or showing the palms of your hands, can indicate openness and honesty. They suggest that you're fully engaged in the conversation and willing to connect on a deeper level. Facial expressions, too, play a crucial role. A genuine smile can be incredibly disarming and inviting, while a furrowed brow can show concern or deep thought. Be aware of your expressions and how they might be perceived. Lastly, consider your proximity to the person you're conversing with. Respecting personal space is crucial, but leaning in slightly can show interest and engagement. Remember, body language isn't about mimicking specific poses or gestures. It's about being authentic and true to yourself. It's about using your body to reinforce your words and to convey your sentiments without having to say a word. With the right body language, you can convey confidence and interest in the conversation. Now, aren't you ready to orchestrate your silent symphony? You're listening, you're signaling with your body language, but how do you establish a connection? By building rapport. Think of rapport as the bridge between two individuals, a bridge built on mutual understanding and connection. It's the secret ingredient that transforms an ordinary chat into a memorable conversation. Let's dive right into it, shall we? One of the most effective techniques to build rapport is mirroring, right? Mirroring can make the other person feel understood and comfortable. Here's a little caveat, though. Mirroring should be subtle, almost unconscious. Overdoing it can make you come across as insincere or even creepy. So, tread lightly. Next up, sharing personal experiences. Opening up about yourself can make you appear more human and relatable. It shows the other person that you trust them enough to share a bit of your world with them. But remember, it's a conversation, not a monologue. So share your story, but give them space to share theirs. Now, on to empathy. Empathy is like a superpower in the realm of conversation. It's about understanding and sharing the feelings of the other person. When you show empathy, you're telling the other person, I get you, I'm here for you. This can create a deep sense of connection and trust. But how do you show empathy? Listen attentively, validate their feelings, and offer support when needed. It's not about fixing their problems, but about being there with them, shoulder to shoulder. Let's not forget, building rapport isn't a one-time thing. It's a continuous process that requires patience and genuine interest in the other person. It's about creating a safe space where both parties can express themselves freely and authentically. Remember, the goal isn't to impress, but to connect. It's not about being the most interesting person in the room, but the most interested. Building rapport can turn a casual conversation into a meaningful connection. And who knows, that connection might just be the start of a great friendship or a fruitful partnership. So go ahead, build that bridge. You've got this. So you've had a great conversation, but how do you wrap it up without making it awkward? Well, here are a few tips on how to gracefully exit a chat, leaving a lasting impression. First off, consider summarizing the conversation. This shows the other person that you've been actively listening and that you value their words. You could say something like, I really enjoyed hearing your thoughts on, or I learned a lot from our discussion about. Next, express your gratitude. A simple, thank you for your time, or I appreciate our conversation can go a long way in making the other person feel valued and appreciated. It's a small gesture, but it can make a world of difference in how the conversation is remembered. Finally, suggest a future meeting. This doesn't have to be a formal appointment or anything. It could be as simple as saying, I'd love to continue this conversation sometime, or let's catch up again soon. This leaves the door open for future interactions and shows that you're interested in continuing the relationship. In the end, remember that every conversation is unique, so these tips may not fit every situation perfectly. The key is to be genuine, respectful, and considerate of the other person's time and feelings. So the next time you find yourself needing to wrap up a chat, remember these tips. Remember, a good ending leaves a lasting impression. Let's quickly recap what we've learned today. We've explored the art of breaking the ice, the power of active listening, and the impact of positive body language. We've delved into the process of building rapport and how to gracefully wrap up a conversation. These are your tools, your keys to opening any door, to talking to anyone with ease. So take these tips, use them, hone them, and remember, there's always more to learn. Subscribe for more helpful guides. With these tips, you can talk to anyone with ease. Remember to subscribe for more helpful guides.